side of everything. But no further delay, let's bring our guest on, man. He has something amazing going on coming up May 28th through May 30th, and he's going to tell us about it. What's up, big fella?
What's going on? How you doing, man?
Man, you are the elephant in the room, literally.
Man, I love it. I love
it. How tall are you?
6'3". Absolutely.
You bigger than me.
Yeah, you're just tall enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I think you doing something over there, man.
Yeah.
I don't interview nobody unless they 6'3".
I don't think that was the law. Camera people don't know what the hell he meant by that one.
Nah, I'm just playing around. So.
What's up, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Rev Up Nation.
Rev Up Nation, absolutely.
What in the world is Rev Up Nation? Sound like something that Kirk Franklin did.
Hey, you know what? I love Kirk Franklin, a good friend of mine. I really, Melodies from Heaven is a classic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Rev Up Nation started about 4 years ago. I felt like after serving, man, as an educational director with 80,000 kids, being in Europe for 10 years.
Oh, never mind.
Being in Europe for 10 years, overseeing the victim advocacy program, sexual assaults, domestic assaults, I got to a point to where I felt like everyone in our country, including our country, needed to be activated in their purpose. And so I asked God for a God dream, and I said, I can't have it cheesy though. I need something to reach out to these new millennials, and it was Rev Up. Rev Up is short for revival, a revival of purpose. You got everybody clout chasing right now, but nobody really figuring out what their God-given identity is. And so this was a platform he gave me.
Well, I'm glad to have a platform for you to come on and explain that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Man, the first night I met you at the event, you was crunk.
Yeah, I was a little hype, man. I was a little hype.
Revved up.
I was revved up for real. I got a kiss from one of the girls on the show. So,
you married?
No, I'm not.
Oh, yeah, you say that then.
Yeah. No, that was good.
Because I do not want to break up no happy home.
No.
I don't know.
That was a good time, man. It was a good time.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't get no kiss, and I had a camera. Damn.
Hey, but you were looking sharp though, man.
They didn't get me nothing. I was just playing. But man, so what do y'all got? Well, you come down here for what? Where you from first one?
So I'm a BOI. I'm from Galveston, Texas. I left when I was 8 years old. My parents divorced, both remarried. I ended up moving to San Antonio. Left San Antonio, left San Antonio to Europe in '99. Played football in Germany and earned a scholarship to TCU, Texas Christian University. Got married, divorced, 2 kids.
Sorry to hear that.
It's all good, man. It's a part of purpose. And so what happened was, for me, I was at a place in life where I was living for everybody else. I went to school for political science and psychology, but that was grandma's dream and that was my mother's dream. But I got to a place when you hit that rough patch, you figure out what kind of man you really are and what your purpose is. And that's when it started for me, Rev Up. The first person that needed to go through a revival was me. Because when you're living for everybody else, you have no real reservoir. And so I was living on empty, divorced, 2 kids, 2 years old and 2 months old. And I'm like, God, I know that there's identity and purpose in me, but I'm dying here. God help me. And so it started with Christ. And during that time, what happened for me was, I said, man, I remember being in my living room floor on the floor saying, God, if you can use anybody for your glory, can you use this man right here? And that's when life changed for me. I went from doing sales and doing really good, making a lot of money, to walking in my purpose. What Rev Up was this. While I was walking in my purpose, I had my brother who was 38 years old. He passed away 3 years ago. He had a stroke. And so the last 2 words he's told me was to rev up. And life made sense at that point. I felt like it was my job to rev up the nation in a way where I can reach not just Galveston, Texas, and El Paso, but I wanted to reach the country with a message. My brother died walking in his purpose, and he helped a lot of people. And so I felt like, for me, God gave me the opportunity to help the country with a message that I understood all too well, because I lived it. I lived, feeling like you existing and not living. Feeling like, man, you can be so disgruntled in your spirit, so disgruntled in your heart, in your mind, and your emotions, and it's tough when you got a God dream on the inside of you, and it's like you got all this turmoil on the outside. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of folks, family, friends, and everybody praying with me to get to a place where it's like, man, I realized why the fight was so strong. I got something for the country. And that's what happened.
So, this One Hope experience,
Yeah.
Love, Laugh, and Lyrics, your purpose is what?
My purpose.
I'm looking at some of the artists you have. You have Kelly Price,
Mm-hmm.
Life Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this guy. I know T-Dash. Now I meet Ike James. Ike Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he gonna beat me up. You don't miss no Ikes.
So,
And,
Let's go.
you don't miss no Ike. I know to fight.
yeah.
You can?
Oh, no.
Oh shit.
He said,
Yeah, but so with this platform, the purpose for it?
man, that's a good question, man. I started out about 10 months ago. I had an idea. Well, I prayed. I said I needed a strategy for 2021. I woke up. I saw 1,000 cars and 2 screens. It was a cinema. I was in El Paso, Texas. I got with the mayor of the city and asked him if I can do it for El Paso. I thought it was important for me to bring them back to community life again and bond it again. He told me no. I said, man, God, I know you gave me that dream. And so what happened after that was I ended up, he reached out to me 2 weeks later. He said, it's a go. You can have the El Paso Coliseum.
Wow.
So in
Wow.
3
3
months,
weeks later.
3 months. So here's the thing. I had the dream, but I didn't have the money. I'm saying this for somebody because you got a dream, but you don't got the resources.
Here I am.
There you go. Here you go. When he said yes, I said, I need $20,000. I'll tell you my true story. I was working at Audi at the time, BMW, selling cars. I was #1 in the city, but I was dying because that greatness I was talking to y'all about was kind of waking me up every morning saying, you got to do something about it. And so what happened was, I'm selling a car to a guy, two black guys, cornrows, they walk in the Audi wanting to pay $150,000 for a car. We didn't have the vehicle. They said, man, I talked to them about the dream that I had about the cinema. 3 days later, they put $15,000 on the table and said, we believe in your God dream. So in 3 months, we got to 70,000 people at the Coliseum coming to support the Sun City Carpool Cinema. I took that money. I built a whole entertainment pavilion in El Paso that can fit 8,000 people. And while I was building it out, it's a cinema, I got a restaurant on there, and then also a concert pavilion. While I was building it out, I got a phone call from Galveston, from the mayor of the city, saying, my city needs live entertainment. I flew into town. Y'all got to think, this guy coming from Audi, BMW, only filled up with purpose, not really necessarily knowing, God, where this is going.
But full.
So what happened was, and I might as well give y'all the full testimony because somebody needs to hear it. Because you right there, you got so much on the inside of you, and you know you have a time in history, but you are discouraged because you don't know when your time is. If you're listening to this message, I gotta tell you, your time is right now. I promise you. So what happened was, I got with the mayor. COVID's going wild, and he said, I want live entertainment for my city on a continual, consistent basis. Can you make it happen?
Wow.
He had executives all in the room. I expressed to them that I wouldn't do anything that didn't have purpose behind it. So I will do purpose-driven entertainment, and we'll make it happen. Now, mind you, I am that guy that literally came from BMW, Audi, God Dream, Sun City Carpool Cinema, purchases a whole entertainment pavilion, and then I'm in the city with mayors talking about live entertainment for the next 20 years. That's the story. So after I got my green light from them, you don't got to worry about anything in Galveston. The city's yours. I went for it, prayed for 2 weeks, and said, man, what do you want to see, God? What city initiatives are in Galveston that I can connect to, right? And this is for that person where you might be an entertainer. Connect to something that the city believes in while you're doing your entertainment, and they'll back you up. So you got the Green Initiative in Galveston where they trying to rev up their parks. You got other initiatives that's happening, but the initiative that meant most to me after COVID-19, after winter storms, after the blood of our young people was stained on the streets of Texas City and Lamarck, it was the initiative of hope. And so when I had the Hope Initiative, I thought, man, dang, where do I do this at? You know, got with Moody Gardens, they said yes. And after I got my venues, it was about artists. During that time, I'm listening to Kelly Price, Life Jennings consistently, but there was a voice that I heard that was so phenomenal. He was singing Tennessee Whiskey, and I heard him on World Star Hip Hop. I'm like, man, who's this dude? And then I went over and I saw him do a Rockets game, and I'm like, I gotta get this guy. I see One Hope, I see this guy, and we gotta find a way to make this happen. Reached out to T-Dabs, Houston's own, and I said, man, I really, really, really want you to be a part of this show. And so, of course, he was like, okay, you know, we worked it out. Then Kelly Price came, Light Jennings came, JaVale and the band, Dominique Hammonds,
Wow.
Marcus D. Wiley, everybody else. The script was written. I felt like I was living an experience where the storyline was already told. I was just walking in it. And so